let's go ahead and talk real quick about the New Mexico Bowl. I was really shocked. Not only the Fresno State winning, that was a little bit of a shock to me personally, but Fresno State dominating in this game. I was wrong about the motivation of Fresno State wanting to be here because Fresno State, they were a team that was going in the absolutely wrong direction. They were coming into this game losers of 3 consecutive games. They did not look good in their free games either. 2 of their 3 were decided by double digits. So I didn't know that Fresno State even wanted to be here or not, but they really did a excellent job rallying around their interim head coach. Their current head coach is in dealing with some health problems, so their typical head coach did not play or did not coach in this game. And we also saw really Pavia really struggle in this one. It seemed like Pavia was not 100% after all, at least not mentally. Pavia struggled through the air. 11 for 25, 58 yards, an interception as well. It's hard when you have such a deficit early on because Fresno State, they went to the halftime locker room down by a couple of scores. And when you don't have the passing game going like that and you're down early, that's an issue. That is certainly an issue. Now, Pavia was able to get theirs on the ground, 18 carries, 72 yards, and a score, but Pavia was just simply not himself. He was not very efficient through the air. Completing 40% of your passes is a huge, you hate to see it, right? You don't like to see that type of stuff whatsoever. And hats off to Fresno State as well. The Bulldogs, they found a way to move the ball downfield. That's why Fresno State has struggled immensely in the month of November. They have not been able to really move the ball downfield. And while Fresno State wasn't necessarily perfect this year or in this game, they turned the ball over multiple times. They actually lost the turnover battle. They had a significant edge in total yards while only allowing the Aggies 200 yards of total offense. Fresno State was able to get 500 yards. So that was exactly what Fresno State needed to do. They needed to figure out how to move the ball again. They needed their quarterback to actually be efficient as well. Their quarterback, Keen, who played in the bowl game, he ends up going for nearly 75% completion percentage. It's a good day, really good day for Keen. All the keys that Fresno State needed, Fresno State was able to get done. So Fresno State, they're going to finish the year. Still a very good season. Kind of considered a what could have been season, right? Because Fresno State was going into the month of November, they looked like a team that was going into possibly in the discussions for a New Year's Six Bowl, but it didn't work out that way. The month of November happened, but they showed that they still had a lot of fight in them, even though a lot of times in that November month, they looked like a team that just ran out of gas. And for New Mexico State, even though this is a bad loss, this is an objectively bad loss, getting blown out in a bowl game, it's not look good for your national brand. It's not going to help with recruiting by any means, but it doesn't change the fact that New Mexico State did have one of its best seasons in school history. This New Mexico State team still won 10 games this year. That's a big accomplishment for that Aggies team. They had to play 15 games to do it. They decided to play a 13th game because they did end up traveling to Hawaii. So under that exception, they got a 13th regular season game. We've seen the Aggies put up duds. We saw that, and that's how they lost to UMass in the very beginning of the season. Unfortunately, that's what we ended up seeing here too. New Mexico State, frankly, put a little bit of a dud in the New Mexico Bowl, but a little bit of drama outside of the bowl game, though, because apparently, so the bowl officials had no issue practicing on New Mexico's field, but the New Mexico AD department had an issue with New Mexico State practicing on their field, and Coach Krill was very vocal in that. Did not like that New Mexico was hostile, so the rivalry never dies. I guess it was because allegedly in the beginning of the season, Pavia peed on New Mexico's logo. It's always that's why it's part of the reason why I love bowl games so much. It's just it's interesting. It's real. You get interesting stories like that every once in a while. Just gives you a good laugh. That gets you a really good laugh. Um, but hey, hats out to Fresno State. They win big here, 37-10. And